Oh, you guys, we never had the answer to every question on why people do this or why people do that. But in my personal opinion, something had to happen in Eric Smith's life way before he was growing up like a teenager. I don't know what that could be, but something must have happened for him to snap and be so evil. Eric Smith, when he was 14, he killed a 4-year-old boy. And they was trying to look for the boy. And Eric Smith went to the police station to act like he was going to help the police find the boy, the 4-year-old boy. And little did they know, the suspect and the boy's killer was right under their nose. So this is for educational purposes, documentary purposes. This is under fair use. I don't own this clip. I'm just giving my commentary and playing it for y'all so y'all can know what's going on. And this is, I'm going to play probably half of it because I don't want to play all of it and stuff. Right in the picture is, of course, the boy, you know what I'm saying? And it says, freely face killer Eric Smith freed after 28 years behind bars. And people would say, why was he freed? Uh, how the justice system works. So y'all can read this. I'll let y'all read that. Actually, he's 13, not 14. I thought they said he was 14, but he was 13 at the time in 93. In 93, I was like 8 years old, so yeah. And he murdered a 4-year-old Dirk, and after 28 years behind bars, he walked out of prison, moved to Queens, New York. And this was posted March 22nd, 2022, so recently. So let's get into the video. Okay, hold on, I gotta stop because I think sometimes it don't always show the audio right, with the when you play the video anyway. So yeah.
So you find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree? Yes. Is that unanimous?
This is whatever he was on trial for murder of Dirk, the 4-year-old.
Yes. Eric Smith was only 14 years old when he
Oh,
was given a sentence of 9 years to life
oh,
in
he
prison.
did a crime when he was 13. He murdered the kid when he was 13. But he was sentenced when he was 14. You know what I'm saying? 14 years old. Can y'all imagine y'all kids being sentenced, at the age of 14 years old? That is very, 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 very devastating. Let's continue.
Smith had been convicted of murdering 4-year-old Derek Roby. But before his arrest,
That right there is
many residents in Savona, New York, thought it might have been the work of an evil adult. Late in the afternoon, the body of Derek Roby was found.
Oh, wow.
It was just a brutal, brutal killing. When police found Derek, they discovered that he had been lured into a wooded area not far from his home, strangled.
Wow, strangled? Oh, wow. It's kind of hard to hear this, like to hear that, a kid strangled, you know. Wow. Let's continue.
In and beaten with rocks.
Beaten with rocks? Oh,
this terrible thing was done. I think everybody, including myself, thought it was an adult. How could anybody do such a terrible, terrible thing?
But Smith had walked into the police command center 4 days after the murder, offering to help police solve the crime. Smith said that he had...
It's always, not always, I would say. Sometimes when somebody commits a murder, what if it's a kid or what if it's an adult? Sometimes they would try to pretend like they're going to help the police solve the case, blah, blah, blah. But little do the police know is they can solve the case because the person that's trying to help the police solve the case is the person that killed, the person that can find the body is the person that killed the victim, which is Eric Smith. Let's continue.
Seen Derek that day with a white t-shirt on, holding a lunch bag. Investigators felt like Smith knew something, but didn't realize the killer was sitting right in front of them.
Yep. Never know. You never know. The police never know.
Then 2 days after Derek Roby's funeral, Smith confessed.
Oh, Smith confessed because he probably, right after Derek's death, right after Derek's funeral, he probably like, wait a minute, I have to just give it up and just like confess to this because it's going to be owed to me forever. So I have to tell the truth and just confess to it. And which it's a good thing that he confessed to it, but it's a bad thing what he did to that little boy. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really horrible. Like, I don't know what reason why he did what he did to that boy. I don't know if he just snapped and, I don't know, we would never know, but he's free after 28 years behind bars. So basically, ever since I've been born, he's been behind bars. Ever since I have been born, this kid has been behind bars. Ever since I was a little kid, he's been behind bars. He's been behind bars for a long, long, long time. Like forever. Like for, his whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might as well say because he was 14 when he got sentenced to prison for murdering Derek, the 4-year-old boy. So you might as well say that he's, prison was his life. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have, he didn't have a life outside of prison. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't able to get a job or he wasn't able to pay bills, have kids. Thank God he wasn't able to do that because he was a buster, He was a little buster at the time. And, because kids can be busters too and pure evil too as well, It does, they don't discriminate against the age when it comes to, being evil and being a buster, so, yeah. Let's continue. I'm going to just play half of it because I don't want to play all of it,
Grandpa! Grandpa!
Yeah.
Aww.
I was there. I was there when my grandson confessed.
So at one point in his life, he was probably a troubled kid. And then I guess something happened, in his life, and he just like snapped really bad. It's really horrible, horrible situation. But let's continue.
It's terrible.
Investigators and community members tried to understand why a 13-year-old boy would do such a thing. They learned that Smith had a history of being picked on as a young child. His bright red hair and freckles made him...
So he was bullied. A lot of kids that have red hair, from my experience of being a kid growing up, I have went to school with kids that had red hair and freckles, and they would get picked on and bullied a lot, and I would, as a kid, I wouldn't really think that of it, but sometimes I would see how they felt, and and pretty much what they went through and stuff like that. Because being redheaded, and being a kid and having freckles, people are most likely to judge you, other kids and adults too, so it's, I kind of figured that before this story, I kind of figured that something happened to him. You know what I'm saying? He was either picked on, he was either hurt himself, whether if it was by kids in school, a family member, or whoever. But, yeah. But in this kind of case, it doesn't excuse anything or justify his actions at all. You know what I'm saying? At the time when this case was going on, I was a little kid myself, so I wasn't educated enough to know about this story until years after I got older. And then I started, hearing about stuff, hearing about Eric Smith and stuff like that, and now I ran across this video and stuff, and remember, YouTube, these videos that are fair use for commentary purposes only, educational purposes. So yeah, it's crazy. It's pretty much unfortunate that this kid, destroyed his whole life, and and he was sitting behind bars because he murdered some young kid that was just like a little baby, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, like, oh, what were the parents at? What happened? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's continue for a little bit.
Target for bullies.
I don't know why he did it.
I asked him why he did it. His words almost verbatim were, I don't know. I just saw this kid, this blonde kid, and I wanted to hurt him.
Oh, wow. That's sad, So he probably was in a situation where he didn't really have a reason to murder Dirk, the 4-year-old little kid. He just saw him, and then he was probably thinking like, no matter what was going through his head, he was a buster, you know what I'm saying, for doing this to his little baby like that. And please watch your kids, you guys, you know what I'm saying, for parents out there, because you don't want your kids to end up like this, it's just so sad, but yeah.
After he was convicted and sentenced, Smith was sent to Brookwood Juvenile Detention Center.
Love you, Eric. Love you, Eric.
So he was sent to a detention center, and then I guess, assuming that he was sent to prison after he got 18. I think so, yeah, because he was behind bars for like 28 years, so yeah.
Honey.
When Eric Smith was sentenced, was there a sense, now we can get on with our lives?
You hear the 9 years to life. And I think back then, everybody was focusing on.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get on with your life with something like that, when a tragic happens like that. It's not like getting over something like maybe like a fight, or getting over like maybe like a car accident, or getting over something itty bitty, It was the worst thing that ever happened, to somebody child. And these kids were kids, you know what I'm saying? And I and everybody else don't know why, or what could have been done different to prevent it. We don't know, you know what I'm saying? But show some love. Show some love in the chat or in the comments, and I will talk to y'all guys later. Bye.